What is up, everyone? It is Riley Reviews. We are back with another video, and we are doing another posing inspiration slash how-to pose video on the Advanced Suit Spidey right here. This figure is really fun and really amazing figure to pose. Obviously, it's a Spider-Man, so you gotta be careful with the arm bending and the leg bending. There's a lot of creasing that can happen, but I went all out for this one. I wanted to show you guys the best ways you can pose this guy, and some inspiration I got through watching these films and video games. I wanted to recreate some poses from that, and I had a lot of fun doing so. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We should have around like 7 poses, I believe, in this video, so I'm really excited with how most of them turned out, and I'm excited to see what you guys think. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, Riley Reviews with a Z at the end, not the S, because someone wanted to take it, but be sure to follow and subscribe on this channel. And a massive shout out to everyone who's been subscribing to the channel. We are at a whopping 250 subscribers, which is unbelievable. I wouldn't even imagine being at this place right now so soon. I really want to hit 500 by this year, and I think we're going to get that easily. I know you guys can do it. Let's get it done. Let's get to 500. Suit that's used, it's rubber, so a lot of creasing can happen. Just to give you guys a disclaimer, I, however, wanted to just showcase how it is, and I have some sort of methods where you can kind of futz with it to make the creases not so visible and try and get them away, which I will show in the video. And that's about it. We're just gonna get to these poses on this figure. I've had him like this for the past few weeks, and I was like, you know what, I need to show the people how to pose this guy. I'm new to this too. I'm basically the same as you guys. I'm learning how to pose with you. It's definitely new to me since I'm a newer collector, but I love doing it. Let's get to the poses. Let's get this bad boy posed up. Let's go. Now for pose number 1, this is your more, typical Spider-Man leaping off a building pose, but I really got information off TASM 2. I love that film. So it's a really amazing film that portrays Spider-Man really well. And it's just really recreated the moment when he's hopping off that building like I've just shown. And I think it came out really well. I remember with that crotch grabber, you got to be careful with that because it could pinch the suit, just to let you guys know. But I like the way his arms are spread out, and I like the way the web is indicating that it's attached to the building, or, building that is really just a Hot Toys display box. But, we work with what we have, and yeah, I like the lighting shown here. It was a lot of fun, and it's not too hard of a pose to get. You just have to extend the legs out in the opposite directions, get the arm up, and make sure you have the appropriate hands used. You got to have the Spidey hand on the right hand, or his right hand. But I like this one. Now this is practically the same pose. It's just moved in a different angle in a different spot, and his knees are a lot more bent to indicate that he's more leaping in motion. So I thought I looked a little bit better. And yeah, you do obviously notice the crease marks. There's a lot of creasing going on, but I mean, that's just something you have to deal with. And I have him actually sitting on top of the stand. I don't like how the crotch grabbers are pinching the suit. I don't like that because I've had issues previously where it's really damaged my figures. So any chance you can just have him sitting on it, that's the way I'd do it. And I think this one came out pretty well. I like the lighting right here, and it's just indicating the same thing. He's just webbing someone up. Maybe this one's a little different. You can interpret it in your own way. That's what I really like about these figures. You can take poses and think about it in another way in comparison to others. Now, to be honest, this was one that I just kind of thought up on the spot with the same scene that I showed before. It's kind of indicating that he's leaping off forward into the nowhere, whatever it's going. And I really like the way this one turned out. And I noticed I used one of the webs that have the bent web. This one's a little more simpler and definitely a lot less creasing on the suit. And I think it's really cool how it turned out, and I like how his head's kind of tilted. It just shows that he's kind of being quippy, as he normally would be from the video game. And yeah, I like this one. But I also have the crotch grabber on him, but I made sure that it wasn't pitching him too hard. I like this one because it's just showing that he's just leaping forward. It definitely tells a greater story. Now for pose number 3, we just had to get the casual swing, just the iconic comic booky type feel when Spider-Man's swinging. He's swinging from from building to building, and I think this one came out pretty well. And yet again, it's kind of similar to the last, where it's more simplistic. There is bunching on his shoulder, as you can see on his right shoulder, but that's just something that you're gonna have to deal with. I wouldn't recommend, if you want to keep your figures in good condition, leaving this pose for a long time, but I like this one. This one just felt really classic to me, and I like how it turned out. I like how it looks from afar. I think that looks a lot cooler. It kind of just shows a bigger scope of his whole area where he's swinging at, and yeah, I think this one turned out pretty well, and I'm happy with this one. Now for this one. This is interesting, but I like the way this one turned out. It was something that I wanted to try. It's hard to move the legs to make it look very good, and it's also hard balancing that one web I did. I'll show where I did that, but I think this one was fun to have. I think it's a nice, iconic way to show Spider-Man, and right here is where I put the web right in between his pinky and his other finger, and I think it made it look a lot better for sure. There is going to be creasing on this, obviously. It's definitely a major creasing pose, but yeah, I have him balancing that web there, and yeah, I just tried it, and you know, the legs, it's not the easiest. Obviously, it's not the easiest to recreate from a comic book or a video game because his legs are a lot lower, but you just can't get that with a figure. But, you know, I still like this one. It's a cool pose. Now the same thing for the inside of the hand. So you notice how it's like that. Keep pushing the fabric far apart. It's gonna keep accelerating. Look at that. There's practically no crease now that you're doing that. Keep pushing the suit like that, and it's gonna stop the creases from showing. There is minor crease lines right here, but it's definitely not how bad it was when you'd have it super bunched up like this. So like I said, you keep it in that crunched position, you push it and pull it, and it definitely helps it, and it keeps the bend there. You notice his arm is still bent. It's just a good way you can look at it. And even up here too, you see that crease line there, you keep pushing his suit up, it's gonna fix it. So you get the gist of it, the main gist of it. Again, crease line on the back of his on his right arm. So you're gonna grab it, push it. You know how it goes. There's no crease. The doctor is here. You guys got it. But let's just move on to the front side of him. But anytime you have these figures posed and you notice stuff like this, always try and push the suit so you can fix it. Just a good tip for you guys. Again, you have it in the bend pose, you put it back. You might not notice this because it's on the back, but you really should take into account for this stuff and push them back, because it'll definitely save your figure from deterioration. 100%. Now right here, it's probably going to be my favorite pose, and just for starters, this is inspired by John Iron Logan. This guy had practically the same right pose. This is where I got inspiration from, except it was a Marvel logo hot toy box, and I just think that this is really cool for your display, to be honest. I like what he did here, and I wanted to show some different aspects into it with the advanced suit and how he's reading a science book. I think that's perfect for Peter Parker, and how he also has the pizza box to his right. I really like this pose. Obviously, you're going to have to deal with a lot of bunching with this pose specifically, but I think it's really worth it for the display. It looks really cool, and I would be tempted keeping this in my room for how it looks. It's definitely my favorite pose I had out of all the poses I've done. It's just tells so much more of a story for not only Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. So I really like how this one turned out, and I like the lighting. I have him on the left side here, and it just signifies that there's shadows on the right side, and I think it came out pretty well. I did notice I did change the eyelids. I made him a lot more squintier to show that he's like kind of focusing on the book, so I thought it was really cool, and I like this one a lot. But let's move on to pose number 6. Now this is for collectors who do not want to deal with creasing, etc. and issues. This is your perfect museum pose, you know. This is how any collector who doesn't want to deal with deterioration, etc. This is how I would display it, and it kind of reminiscent of the game itself when he does the suit up. So just a quick one here, and I like it.
What are like some of the craziest villains that you guys have fought?
Seems you've met some of them.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I fought an alien made out of black goo once.
I want to fight an alien.
Now, at first, I wanted to include Venom in this. I know I was going to, but I think that this is the best way to have him with the advanced suit because it just seems like something he would totally do. And having the phone out and watching No Way Home and seeing that scene, it kind of like reminded me like, oh, what if the advanced suit were to have this Venom? And we may see him in the newest Spider-Man game. So I think this is a perfect way to combo the two figures together nicely. And it seems like something that Peter would end up doing. But I like the way the phone's displayed. Make sure you use the hand that comes with the advanced suit, that where he's the holding phone type of hand. Make sure to get that peg out and put that in. And right here we just kind of changed it up and had him right in front for a selfie. I like this one. This one was a lot of fun. This is a fun one to have on the room. But again, not really that much bad for creasing, etc. Let's end it right here with the other Spider-Man. And I like the way this is sort of like I guess you could say team up, like a Spider-Verse team up, but I mean, Advanced Suit's just sitting on his phone. But I like the Scarlet suit. I love this suit. It's so easy to pose. You have no issues posing and bunching, etc. because the fabric on it. But let's here nor there. Let's talk about this suit. This one's your more museum-esque type pose, and I think it's a cool one to have. I think you can have this in a detail and people will be like, oh, this is cool. He's kind of like on his phone, or he's taking a selfie, or he's taking a photo of someone. So adding little accessories here and there can really improve your display and really improve what people think of your display. But yeah, I like this one a lot. I got the lighting here on the left side and got the hot toy box on the right. I think this one really does tell a big story with Venom kind of like putting both of his hands to both of them, etc. But yeah, this one was very cool, and I'm happy to end the video on this final pose. Now this is just more for all museum. It's the same type of pose. I just have him now all standing up and still. And yeah, same exact thing. It still looks good, and I like how I have the Scarlet with the hoodie on. I actually, for the first time, put the hoodie on. I didn't even realize that you can fully put it on. But yeah, enough about that. This advanced suit, it really looks good in the proper lighting. You just only think about the video game when you see this suit, and that's obviously what you're gonna think of with that white symbol. I really like how the white symbol's on there. I love getting Spider-Man figures that are really different and unique because they just tell that much more of a story. And you got Venom in the back just complimenting them, just absolutely towering over all of them. And yeah, it was a nice way to conclude this video. Since we are a review channel, I think it would be best for me to get some, words in to explain what I think of this figure. It's a great figure for sure, 100%. There is the problems with the creasing. I did notice after doing all of those poses at the end, there may be some minimal creasing, but end of the day, that's just gonna happen with a Spider-Man figure. You have to live with that if you're collecting a Spider-Man figure and want to pose. It's just something that's gonna happen, and that's just letting you guys to take account for that if you are getting Spider-Man figures, except for this guy. This guy's they did that guy justice. They got him right with the fabric. But other figures, I know they couldn't have done the same thing, but you are gonna have those limitations where there's a lot of creasing that can go on and a lot of damages that can happen with these figures. So make sure before you do your poses, try and limit the creasing, as I showed in the video, as much as possible. And these display stands are really strong, so you got to really be careful. I would recommend putting them around their legs, bottom legs, or have them just sit on top of it. As long as there's no friction or movement around that area, it's not going to fall if you have them sitting on it. That's what I would say for you guys. I would definitely not keep this crouched around him for definitely longer than a couple hours, because you're going to probably see some damages happening. But other than that, those two issues, this figure is amazing. It definitely has so much presence on a shelf. So if you guys are Spider-Man fans, there's something about any Spider-Man figure where it's on the shelf, a lot of people gravitate towards them. And especially when you have them in dynamic posing, which I'd obviously want to recreate. I hope you guys took account of all the poses and letting me know what was your favorite pose in the full, I believe, 7 poses that I got done. And let me know what your favorite figure was in the whole video, because I did show other figures. So is this the one that takes the crown for you? Let me know. But I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I will be on streams here and there this week. Hopefully get some more videos out. Been a little busy, but that's how it is. But that's not going to stop me from expanding this channel and trying to do other things, different things for you guys. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope you get to some posing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.